Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV, just adjusting this set. I hope you're doing well. It's 5 to 5. It's normally time for Crackerjack on a Friday evening, 5 to 5. And whilst we're basking in that wonderful victory yesterday against the mighty Reds, the champions Liverpool beat them, slapped them aside 4-0. A very, very hearty victory, much welcomed. But we're here to talk about the news of today. And so what we're going to talk about, we've got a little bit of information on Aguero, Foden, Leroy Sonny, if you're interested in that. We'll talk about Joel Latibeaudiere, if we can. We'll also talk about other bits and pieces. Bernardo Silva and his disrespect of the Liverpool during the Guard of Honor, and anything else you guys want to come up with. So let's have a drink. Let's see if anybody comes online. Right, let's have a quick think back to that Liverpool game last night. Very much welcome win for City. We're still 20 points behind Liverpool in the league, and you know it does frustrate me a little bit. Hi Blackpool Blu-ray, hope you well, buddy. It frustrates me that we threw lots of points away, and you know, and Liverpool are deserving champions. You can't argue with that. But I just look back at games like the 2 games against United. We lost 2 league games against United. There's 6 points. You know, 3 games where we were winning 2-1, and we ended up drawing. I think there was Newcastle. There was Spurs. Was it Palace? I can't remember now. But there was 3 games where we were winning 2-1 and we end up drawing the games. It's not good enough. You know, there's another 6 points. And because of all that, Liverpool weren't under pressure. And it was very early on in the season that they were under pressure. And they've been able to course through games with about 15, 16 players. And that's pretty much what they've relied on. They managed to course through games. And it's our own fault that we are where we are. We can't blame anybody else. Hey, the Storm, hope you're well. Everybody's recovered after obviously having a good time. Everybody's had a good time with the City win last night, and you know, we're ready to move on. I mean, it's only 2 days away. We're playing against Southampton. Games coming thick and fast. Obviously, it'll be very interesting to see what kind of team Pep pops out. I mean, if he doesn't play Phil Foden, my fantasy team is slammed. I'm expecting Riyad Mahrez to start, David Silva to start, maybe Otamendi or Stones get us a look in. We're always looking to the next game as well, we know. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I slept very well. Yeah, at 4-0. Yeah, I actually went to bed early. Normally, after a game, if I was there, I'd have gone to bed about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, I'd get home after a game like that. About 11:30. If it's finishing 10:15, I'll get home about 11:30, maybe even later. Sorry, if it's finishing about 10ish, yeah, I'd get home about 11:30, between 11:30 and 12. And then I'd spend a couple of hours watching it on Match of the Day, watching stuff on YouTube, watching stuff, you know, reading stuff on Twitter. So for once, I got an early night after a game of footy. Still sick about the VI decision, spoiled that the Spurs game as well. You seem to be, yeah. The big frustration for me is if a defender did the same handball, microscopic handball, you don't get an automatic penalty. Yeah, it's only a handball if it leads to a goal. Well, surely a handball is a handball is a handball. Same way as a foul is a foul is a foul. A foul in the first minute is the same as a foul in the 90th minute. A yellow card offence in the first minute is the same as a yellow card offence in the 90th minute. Okay, so why should handballs be treated differently? Why should they be treated differently if they lead to a goal, or if they don't? Why should they be treated differently if they're an attacker or a defender? It's just daft. It really, really is. Okay, guys, let's see what we got on the agenda. We're going to talk about, as I said, we're going to talk about Sergio Aguero, talk about Leroy Sonny. We're going to talk a little bit about Phil Foden. We'll talk about Chloe Kelly, briefly mention her. We'll talk about Joel Latibeaudiere and Eric Garcia. Is that enough? Or do you want more? You want more? You can't handle anymore. Okay, let's start off with Phil Foden. Phil Foden's been brilliant this season. After the restart, he's been fantastic. He's now scored 4 goals, I believe. And it was disappointing to see that for the Premier League Player of the Month for June, Phil Foden wasn't in the 6 names mentioned. Was it 8? Whatever it was. He scored 3 goals this season since the restart. So basically, same as everybody else. Everybody's had the same January. He scored 3 league goals in January in, I believe, 104 minutes. 104 minutes. I think Fernandes has 3 goals, but his is like 200 minutes, or a lot more than 104. So of all the players in the whole Premier League since the restart, Phil Foden has scored the most goals in the fewest minutes. How can he not be included? And who can forget that no-look pass to Bernardo Silva against Burnley, the 4th goal against Burnley, the no-look pass to Bernardo Silva, who passed it across it to David Silva, who slammed it into the net. Fantastic from Phil Foden. So it is extremely disappointing that he's not been, included in the list. That he should be winning. It's not just that he might not win it. He's not even in the list. It's a slap in the face to City again. But apparently, Pep's apparently made it plain, according to the Manchester Evening News, to the England manager, that Foden is ready for his international call-up. He absolutely is. If the Nation League does resume in September, Foden's ready for that. There's no way you can not include him if he's fit. He's playing enough games now. You can't use that very poor argument against him that he wasn't having enough game time. He's having plenty of game time. He's doing the business. He scored that goal against Liverpool last night. Wonderful play. Absolutely wonderful play on the edge of the box. And then he sets up Raheem Sterling for a goal as well. So far he's played, if you remember in the Carabao Cup final, he played on the right against Villa. We tried that against United in the next game. It just wasn't as good. He was up against, was it Luke Shaw? Can't remember now. But whoever it was, snuffed him out of the game a bit. But he's played on the left. Pep said he can play on the left up front. And he used Foden as one of the reasons why we might not be in the market to replace Leroy Sonny. Okay, and obviously Foden has been touted as the natural replacement for David Silva as a central attacking midfielder. And we saw it yesterday. Foden and KDB getting between the Liverpool lines, between their back 4 and their midfield 3, time and time again. And as I said, the way that we played with De Bruyne yesterday was classic David Silva, as the MEN say as well. But apparently, Pep wants him to play as high up the field, because you can see it. He's got an eye for an opening and a clear eye for a goal. He's scoring goals. He's creating goals. Pep said he's a midfield player, but in time he's going to learn to play as a holding midfielder, even because he has the ability to learn. But I don't want to dismiss the chance to play him close to the box, because he has something special. We make a game in the training session, and when you score 4, 5, 6 goals, this guy scores all the time, 2, 3. He has a sense of goal, the mentality to be incredibly aggressive. When he takes the ball, he's incredibly aggressive against central defenders and shoots and finishes. Incredible quality. It is so difficult to find the quality that he has. Okay? Wow. What wonderful things Guardiola says about Phil Foden. He also said all the managers around the world love to work with good players. The success we have in our careers as managers is because we are training incredible, outstanding players, and Phil is one of them. I would love all the players in the academy, his mates, to look at his behaviour in training sessions. The difference from Phil is the behaviour, never regret or one bad face or complaint. Play 5 minutes, 90 minutes, don't play. The day after he doesn't play, he goes into training and is like a little boy and wants to play and fight and score goals. That's why he deserves it. I am more than satisfied for him, because he's an incredible reality. Yeah. And it is incredible news for us. At Manchester City, we can count on him for years to come, as a midfield player, as a winger, as a striker because he has an incredible sense of goal and vision. I don't want to see anything wrong, but Gareth Southgate has an incredible talent for the national team on his hands. I saw many players in my life. I trained with incredible players, and Phil will be one of them. Wow. I mean, that's a long statement and long description from Pep. Phil Foden, as people were saying, Phil Foden is not the future. Phil Foden is not the future. Phil Foden is the here and now. He's going to make it happen now for the rest of this season, and next season we'll see him blossom. Given that game time, he will continue to blossom. So fantastic news from Pep, and everything he said, the high praises poured on him, absolutely deserves it. Hi, Rashford. I hope you're well. Aaron Booth, Chris Lindley as well. Let's have a look what you got to say. Apparently, Napoli are willing to accept 45 million plus add-ons, which will go up to 60 cents for Koulibaly. That would be a fantastic price, but his recent agent change is causing commission issues. Yeah, Irish Fear. I mean, that price would be great. I think City will look at going up to 60, 70 million. I think they'll do that because he could be the game changer as Eric Garcia develops. But don't get me wrong, guys. Eric Garcia is very, very good. But we could see a lot of problems last night as well. And that's with Eric Garcia and Laporte are most fans' preferred option, first pairing at the back. Okay, so we can still see areas for improvement. And Koulibaly on his own is not going to make the difference. I guarantee you that. He's not going to make the difference on his own. We will need a little bit more steel from Rodri, whoever plays DM. But it's the way we're set up. We are going to give chances against good teams. There's no question about that. Hi, Aaron and Chris, as I said. Absolutely, Aaron. Lad is hungry for goals. Blackpool Foden has gone up another level since lockdown. Must be that form. But yeah, absolutely. If you don't remember, young Foden went off. Was it to Formby? Got ticking off a dressing down. Afternoon, Ikram. Hope you boys are all enjoying basking in that victory last night. Yeah, no, you could argue it's after the Lord made sure Liverpool have got the title and all that, but it's still nice to do them over. Right, next. Well, do we have to mention Leroy Sonny? I think we have to mention Leroy Sonny. It's quite it is galling. It's saddening to see, sickening even to see Leroy Sonny with that smile on his face wearing the red of Bayern Munich. Look, this transfer thing has been going on for about 2 years. It's reported that he arrived on Wednesday to conduct his medical and put pen to paper on a 5-year deal, which will run into 2025. That doesn't sound like a 5-year deal to me. A 5-year deal. And see him, he's going to be earning about 22 million euros a year. Now, he's on about 10, according to the Manchester Evening News, he's on about 10 million quid a year, which is like 200 grand a week. So I think he came in on 60. I mean, this is according to the Manchester Evening News. I didn't know that we bumped his salary up to 200 grand a week. Now, if that's true, all the people who are saying Leroy Sonny is leaving simply for money, and well, he's going to double his money. But if he's on 10 million a year, it's 200 grand a week. Not much short of Sterling. So people are saying if he's on 60 grand and Sterling's on 220 or 230 or 250, then you can see why he's unhappy. But if he's already on 10 million a year, which is 200 grand a week, that kind of knocks that back a bit. But anyway, City are going to get a huge profit on the guy. He cost us 37 million. In the books, he's got an accounting value. Is FFP. In the books, he's got something like a £7.5 million accounting value. Now, if we sell him for an initial £45 million, that gives us about £37.5 million profit in accounting terms. So the terms of the deal are supposed to be about 49 million euros, about 45 million quid, excuse me, and up to 11 million in add-ons. That could get the deal up to about 55 million quid. I suspect, excuse me, I would hope that at least half of that is based upon appearances, goals, and Bundesliga titles, because Bayern Munich don't look like anybody can challenge them. Look, Sané, he said some nice. I mean, I'll read some of his tweets and Instagram stuff. So he said, first of all, thank you, citizens. Thanks so much for the great time and all the support of the last 4 years. It has been a really intense and successful time, which I surely won't forget. We won many games, scored a ton of goals, broke a couple of records, and celebrated 7 trophies together. Thanks to all the fans, to the staff, and to my teammates. I will always remember this time with great joy and pride. Also, thanks to my coach, who has made me a better player and has a large share of my PFA Young Player of the Year award in 2018. I've learned a lot, and I'm very proud to have been part of this journey. Look, you'd expect nice words from Leroy, and yeah, he's given us nice words. It's what you'd expect. So let's have a look at some of your comments. Hey, Bernard, nice to have you. Nice to have you. Next season, ideally, I'd have Laporte, Garcia, Koulibaly, Stones, Otamendi. I think that's. I don't see. Yeah, Stones or Otamendi. I get that. I forgot all our awards from this season after that incredible performance. Yeah, look, look. As I was speaking to Bernard earlier on the stream I did with Bernard, talking about the game last night, and other stuff was about Liverpool as well. We've lost 8 games this season. We've lost 8 games of football this season, which is exactly the same as Manchester United. We've just been lucky that we've won an absolute shed load more than them. We either win or lose. Yeah, hi Bernard, hope you're well, buddy. The big bucks there, and yeah, look, we know it's been going on for 2 years or a year and a half, whatever. This overt tapping up in the public, you can't do anything about it. And it's happened, and unless UEFA stroke FIFA, whoever has the authority does something about it, it will just carry on going. And it's wrong, but look, I'm sure we do it as well. And we'll talk to the players behind the club's back. Pablo Oaks, nice to have you on board. Sell off to many Stones and get another world-class centre-half. I've always said I'd happily sell one, but not both. If we can get Koulibaly, I think that'll make a huge difference. And Garcia, have Laporte, Koulibaly as your first choice. Garcia coming through. Keep one of Stones, not too many. You've got Fernandinho as a backup and Taylor Howard-Bellis as backup too. The wages he demanded. Well, if the MEN are correct, he's getting paid 22 million euros a season, which is about 385 to 400 grand a week. City are offering him. City, I think, either offering or paying about 200 grand a week. He's doubled his wages. Lots of highs. He's got home comforts. Ban always puts the best German talent. He's guaranteed an international place hire. And yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see if he even gets in the Bayern side, because they've got a few good players at the moment. They've got Kingsley Coman, who said, I'm not giving up my place for Leroy. There's talk about them interested in Kai Havertz. Maybe not this season, maybe gets him next season. I love Kai Havertz at City. He's got the height, he's got the pace, he's got the trickery, he scores goals, he creates chances, lots of assists. What can't you like? What is there not to like about Kai Havertz? I want Kai Havertz at City, and I want it now. How many boos will Bernardo get at Anfield next season? Every single boo that Bernardo gets at Anfield, okay, will be like a little ripple in my heart. I'll be so happy for every single boo he gets. I'll cheer for every single boo he gets. Hi, JSJ, Football Talk, man. I'm very well, man. I'm very well. How many channel names have you got? Ikram, I'm looking forward to see so much more of Foden and Garcia. They started together last night. I hope to see that in the following games. Storm Gunder did very well yesterday, helping Laporte and Garcia. He had a great game, I think. Bernardo is a legend, says Pablo. Well, I'm going to watch a bit of that game again, or at least the long highlights, because I've got a podcast to do tomorrow. So I've got to know my beans. Right, what we're going to talk about. Sergio Aguero, obviously he's injured. He's had this operation on his meniscus problem in his knee. That was last Wednesday, I think. We're talking about the Champions League, and Pep said, unfortunately, Sergio is injured, so he couldn't be here. We will wait for him. I don't know if he's ready for the Champions League. It is possible. We have to look forward. We are going to wait for him, and with the players that we are going to do it. Okay. Now, my feeling is, as I said to you last week, towards the end of last week, my feeling and my hope is that Sergio will be ready in about 4 to 6 weeks' time. That's my hope. Okay. Now he's already had 1 week. Another month from now, that's the beginning of August. I don't think you're ready for. I don't think he'll be ready for the Madrid game. Don't know. Is that going to be in Lisbon as well? So I've just got to hope, that he might be physically fit, but not match fit, not training, and all that. So I think he just does need a little bit of time after he's come back. So, a week, at least I reckon a couple of weeks So you just got to hope that in a couple of weeks he can start training. A couple of weeks after that, he'll be ready to play again. And at least be on the bench for the start of the Real Madrid game, or if we get through the game after that. Gundogan didn't get much credit for yesterday's game. To be honest, the Storm, I was focused. I mean, when players have middling games, I struggle to focus on them. I focus on the mistakes because I'm that sort of guy. But I also focus on what we're doing well, and I'm focused on people like Phil Foden playing an exquisite game of football. Kevin De Bruyne being sublime, Raheem Sterling bagging a goal and winning a penalty, and I think he getting an assist for that own goal at the end. So I was more focused on them, and then some of the mistakes at the back and the play Liverpool had. So I missed some of the nitty gritty stuff in the middle of the park. So I'll take your word for that. Aaron says need another striker now. If you ask Bernard says exactly the same. We can't rely on Gabby J. 3 clear offsides where he should not have been offside for any of them because he had so much space and time and to be not offside basically and still have chances to score. Clear. If he timed it even half right, he could have been 2 yards onside and he'd still been in oceans of space. So that was poor from him. He only had 2 chances in which he fluffed. And Aguero's injured, so you've got to worry. Aguero's, I think, 32 now, so you've got to worry about the future. I think we do need another striker. And if we're not going to get a wide man, if Pep is to believe, then why not a striker? Only guy who didn't play up to standard, that was Gabby J. Yeah, Bernard, look, you can have a bad game. I'll allow that. Hey, guys, I'm going to ask you a question. Mendy, okay? He made a big boo-boo in the first few minutes of the game. Big error, okay? Do you cut him some slack because it was early in the game? Or do you say you shouldn't be making that sort of error, you're making them up too often? Now, I've seen somebody out there say, I can forgive him because it was early in the game. Okay? I'm going to say a word I don't normally say on here. I say balls to that. Balderdash. Making a mistake in the first minute or the 45th minute or the 90th minute, which leads to a goal, is making a mistake in the first minute. Is it making a mistake? It doesn't matter if you're in the first minute, you've warmed up, you've trained. You should be switched on from the word goal. Okay, scoring a goal in the first minute, 45th minute, or the 90th minute is still one goal. So to me, it makes no difference when you made the mistake. You're a professional player, and we'd hope you wouldn't make the mistake. So to absolve somebody from blame, he might have had a good game after that, but I'm focusing on that point. He made a mistake. He made a boo-boo. It could have been costly. Liverpool, can you imagine how that game could have been different if Liverpool had scored first? And Mendy made that early mistake again. Made a mistake against Chelsea in the first half. Okay, give Chelsea the goal. Made it doubly difficult for City. And the same with Liverpool. So anybody who goes around and saying, I will let him off that mistake. I will let him off that mistake because it was early in the game. What a clown. What an imbecile. What a fool. Because if that had led to a goal, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. If Mendy had got red carded in the second minute, is that fool going to say, hey, it was early in the game, it was only the second minute. You know what? I'll let him off that. I'll let him off that red card because it was only in the second minute. Clown. Absolute whopper of a buffoon. Let's read your comments and then before I get cracking again. Even though we have players that can score goals, Aguero is a huge miss. Absolutely, he's the only one who knows what to do and where to be inside the box. We need him. I don't think he's essential because I think we can, but we can play good with him. We actually can play good without him. And for the future as well, we should sell Stones. See, if it was me, I'd let Otamendi go and keep Stones. Stones is, 26 years old. He's still got 5 or 6 years, good years ahead of him. Otamendi's, I think, 32. And if I had a choice, I'd sell Otamendi and keep Stones. Mendy get back to the best form. I'm not sure Pablo. Look, the best form shouldn't include all those errors. His crossing's getting better. I criticised him, I think, in the Newcastle game and the Chelsea game. Is that right? But his crossing has been hit and miss. Okay, so he's putting some good crosses in, but he's putting some poor ones in as well. So he's got to improve. Blackpool, how bad was Mane looked when he was already on his halls? Absolutely. I'm a bit annoyed with Sadio Mane, because I kept him in my fantasy team, I'm expecting big things from him, but he seems to have dropped off the pace a little bit recently. So much so that I think he's been the best Liverpool player. I think he made a lot of difference in the early part of the season, bagging goals, winning penalties, cheat, and helping Liverpool get out of trouble and win games. Much more than Mohamed Salah. And now actually Salah's got 2 more goals and the same number of assists. I think Salah's got 17 goals and 7 assists. Mane's got 15 goals and 7 assists. Mane's played, I think, 28 league games and Salah's got 29. So, but Salah's now ahead. So Mane has dropped off a bit. I'm still not going to change from Salah to Mane. From Mane to Salah. Mane was definitely on the beer. I mean, Jesus is all right, but he has his moments, but not that consistency there. And born offside, Ray. Yeah, absolutely. I said that to Bernard on the stream I did with him. I said, when Gabby Jesus was born, the doctor, he blew his whistle. When Gabby Jesus was born, the midwife raised the flag and waved it and shouted offside. Diabolical for a kid who's been here for a kid who's that old should not be offside so often. A kid who's that old at City, who's been here for 3.5 years, he should not be that offside that much. And it's not by a little bit, it's 2 or 3 yards offside when there's no need for it, when you've only got one man who's near you and he's going to the ball, so there's no need for it. We made a lot of mistakes last night, absolutely, Aaron. That's going to be, and as I said, as I chatted with Bernard earlier on, the first goal makes a difference, and if that had been Liverpool, that game could have been so different. City won 4-0 without Aguero, so why worry about who will score? Sterling scored 2 games in a row. Yeah, that's 2 games in a row this time. It's not consistent like he was early in the season. If Sterling gets back to his best form, then we can say, yeah, if we can play a bit more with the false 9, then you say, fine, no problem. Ikram, I want Mendy to play more and more so he can be back to his best. It's not easy to come back from horrific injuries. Pepper's right to have faith in him. Well, he's going to get a run of games. This is the first time he's been able to play 2 games on the banks. Earlier in the season, up till March, he could not play 2 games back-to-back, and Pep was extremely, you could see, agitated. He was unhappy about that. But now he can, so we'll see, because he is playing games back-to-back, so he's just got to improve his consistency. My worry is I think 26, he might not get back to the level he was before. If you think 2 years ago at 24, he's had basically 3, for me, 23, I think when he came to City, 3 stunted seasons. Instead of continuing his development, he's gone backwards overall, in my opinion. Okay, and that's because he's been injured twice and he's not played enough and he's had issues this season. So it may be next season he comes good, but you've got to remember, we've got issues at centre back and left back, and I still think we've got issues at defensive midfield. I really do, because changing just Koulibaly, I don't think that's going to make enough of a difference to City. The only way we can get the Mendy from Monaco again is if he gets to kick game time. Absolutely, and learns from his mistakes he mimics. Well, he's got to do it quick, Ikram. He's got to do it quick because he's 26 and we can't wait forever. Can you imagine next season if Mendy's the one letting us down? We need Aguero. What we need is Aguero to be available. We might not always need him, Ikram. He's not crucial. We saw last night we slapped Liverpool around without Aguero. We beat Newcastle without Aguero, so we can do it. Score prediction: Real Madrid. Dara, I'm not sure. It depends. Obviously, it's too far ahead for me. It depends on how many players who's fit, who's ready to play, and if it's definitely in Portugal, how much of an effect that's going to have on us. I'll leave my prediction till nearer the time. I think Stones and Ottoman and nightmare pairing. They don't fill you with confidence. Pressure's all right, actually. Come on, stream, stay with me. Hey, Thomas Castling, nice to have you on board. Mendy's a confidence player. If benefits no one getting on his back, he needs time to rebuild his muscle memory after a long time. I agree, but I don't think Benjamin Mendy watches City Fan TV. With all due respect to all the team here at City Fan TV, I don't think Ben Mendy's going to be watching City Fan TV and think, they've had they've dissed me, they've criticised me, and go into his shell. I don't think he's that sort of guy. Even if he did hear what I was saying, he's not that sort of guy. Garcia should be playing more consistently, says Dara. I agree. Had Firmino in his pocket. That was Garcia. Yeah. What do you think of the Rodri this season? I haven't seen much of him. He's not done enough for me. he's got a long way to go to be a patch on Fernandinho. All right. Micah Richards, he had the big smile and hearty laugh. Mike Richards said he believes Eric Garcia is the future. Now, Eric started, obviously, last night, played a decent game against Liverpool. Obviously, against the quality of people like Salah and Mane, he was caught out a few times. But that happens. There's, some of the best players in the league. But that's his 8th league appearance this season, his 4th start. Obviously, if he hadn't got that clattering from Edison in the Arsenal game, I think he'd have played a couple more games already this season. Okay, so he has been impressive. Now, Mike Richards told Sky Sports he certainly is the future. He said that before the game. Okay, he said, I've watched him on many occasions this season. He plays with confidence, freedom. He's still learning. I don't think we can say he's the answer. They've still got young Taylor, that's Taylor Howard-Bellis as well, who has impressed me this season. I think it's an area where they need to get sorted out. Okay, now it looks like we will sort that out this summer. Sky Sports pundit Gary Neville believes he could be getting game time at the moment as part of a trial run at the back by Garcia. That's by Guardiola. He said, we said just before the Arsenal game that Pep Guardiola might just be finding out about Eric Garcia in this last period of the season, whether he's someone he can rely on for next season given the chance. Everyone else has had a go. Fernandinho, Otamendi and Stones, they've all played with Laporte. And it's something I've said before that either before the restart and everything else, I said I want to see Eric Garcia, and I'm hoping that we do see Eric Garcia towards the end of this season, so that Pep knows, can you trust him? Can you rely on him? And people were saying, oh, can you play him in this big game? I said he has to play Eric Garcia. If he's fit, he has to play against Liverpool to see if he's good enough. And do you think he was any worse or any better than Laporte? I think Garcia had a cracking game for a 19-year-old kid. I thought he had a cracking game. So as Beyond Ultra Gaming says, Garcia was so reliable. As I said, don't get away from the fact that he got caught out a few times, but it's going to happen with Salah and Mane. Hi, Zidane28. I hope you're well, buddy. So, all augurs very, very well for Garcia. And as I said, you saw Tommy Doyle on the bench. And I'm hopeful that once we've got the second spot done and dusted, I think 3 more wins is almost going to do it for us in the last 6 games, then people like Tommy Doyle will get a run out. Maybe just 1 or 2 games, or maybe half an hour here, half an hour there. Maybe Jayden Braff gets a run out. That's, we're all excited to see if he can get a run out of Jayden Braff. Maybe Taylor Howard-Bellis get a run out, or Cole Palmer? I think it's an opportunity once we get second spot nailed to let 1 or 2 kids play every game. I mean, look, yesterday we had a 20-year-old in Foden and 19-year-old in Eric Garcia. Can you imagine those 2 playing and Tommy Doyle playing, or Cole Palmer? I mean, it's a mouth-watering prospect to think that next season in our first team squad we could have Cole Palmer, Jayden Braff, Tommy Doyle, Phil Foden, Eric Garcia, and maybe even Taylor Howard-Bellis. That's an incredible prospect, and we've been crying out for these kids to come through for so many years, for almost 10 years, crying out for kids. Can they make it? Why aren't they getting a chance? And seeing kids like Jadon Sancho leave, Brahim Diaz leave, Rabbi Matondo leave. Okay, all very good prospects, and we've seen Sancho's blossomed. Rabbi and Brahim haven't had enough opportunity at their respective clubs. So now we're getting that opportunity to see these kids coming through, and it's an exciting time. I think the next 10 years for the local Manchester kids and other kids that have come. I mean, you've got kids that have come like Garcia. Like, 2 or 3 years, it feels like he's kind of, City are his team now. City are his team. Let's see what you guys got to say. What do you think? The Storm, I think City should go from the left back. Mendy is done. He will never be the same. I doubt he's going to be the same. I doubt he's going to get to the level he should have got to. If you say he started here 3 years ago, I think he should be here now. Okay, now, but what's actually happened? He's here. And it might take him a couple of seasons to get back to somewhere near where he should have been now. So I always think he's going to be behind schedule. Thomas Casting, but we all know he has a big social media presence. He's cut that back. He reads the comments on his posts after games, so we shouldn't be putting him down after a mistake because he knows what he needs to do. We're doing it on here. We're not doing it. I don't do it generally on social media. I might do it. I do it here. I might get a bit frustrated during games, but that's during the game, you know. And it'll usually be like, why are we missing chances? Gabby Jesus, born offside. But I like Gabby Jesus, but he's born offside. See you later, JSJ Football Talk. Let's see who else is here. Some, I think, oops, missed it. I think City should try Walker centre back. Why not Ramos right back in the beginning? Yeah. I've seen him play for England. I not feel comfortable. I think Walker has a problem with positioning. He's got pace, he's got power, but I think he's got a problem with positioning. And out on the right, it's less of a risk out on the right than it is at centre back. Pablo Moreno, only a kid, 18 years old. We don't know enough about him, but obviously he was at Barcelona, La Masia. The kid scored over 200 goals in 4 seasons. Okay, 200 goals in 4 seasons as a junior with Real Madrid. With Barcelona, going through their youth ranks. But he left at 16. I don't know why. Why would you go to Juventus at age 16? Maybe he thought there's no future at Barcelona. Don't know if he's fallen out with anybody, or he just thought, look, I'm never going to get ahead of Suarez. I'm never going to get I think Usman Dembele was there. I think Neymar had just gone. I'm never going to get a Messi, and other players will come. I'm never going to get a chance. And maybe he thought that. You know, I don't want to go out on loan. And maybe he thought I'd move to Juventus. You know, Ronaldo was there at Juventus. Not a bad player. Dybala's there as well. So maybe he thought that was a good move. He went there for 2 years. So from being a top prospect to Barcelona, he became a top prospect at Juventus. And only back in May, I did that article on him. I did that video a couple of days ago, 2 or 3 days ago. And that article, they were still about, I think it was on the 7th of May it came out. They were still talking about him as a future, a massive prospect in Juventus football. And now he's at City. So if he's a good prospect for them, should be a good prospect for us, you would hope. Let's look who else is on. Hello, Kenny Placide. Would play Harrison. Zidane, I think Harrison will be sold. I don't think. I mean, I would like Harrison to have a run with the first team squad in pre-season training, just to see if he's good enough. But you know, I think if Leeds go up, Leeds want him. City will take the 15 million that they're asking for, between 12 and 15 million, and move on. But it'd be interesting to see if Jack Harrison gets a look in at City. But I don't think he'd count as homegrown, so that is an issue. I think by playing in the States, even though he's in English, he spent, you know, he's, I think, born here, spent a lot of time here. But you know, his teenagers were in America, I think. So not sure. He won't count as a homegrown. I don't think, because he was playing at New York City FC. And so that, for me, is potentially going to be an issue. Hi, Wassa, hope you're well. Hi, Sean. I think if Mendy stays fit, he'll become the player. I hope so, Wassa. And I don't get me wrong, I don't want to just dump on him, because Zinchenko certainly isn't a left-back either. So that's another reason to get a quality left-back. Do you want to keep playing Mendy, who's got problems with fitness, and Zinchenko, who's not a left-back? Or would you like to get somebody else, you know, better than Angelino? I mean, Angelino might end up being fantastic. They all need time. All three of them need time in that position, but there's 3 of them. Who's going to get the time? If we get Digne Mendy, I think that might be the way to go beyond Ultra Gaming. Ikram says we could have both Mendy and Digne. We need at least 2, which will allow Zinchenko a chance in midfield. Where's Zinchenko going to play? I mean, you worry. You got Rodri, Fernandinho, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, KDB, and Phil Foden. There's a lot of players fighting for that place. But because he's a left foot, he could play out on left. But you got Phil Foden can play left. You got Raheem Sterling who can play left. Very tough even for Zinchenko. Jane Raff just named that you play of under 23s. Good player. Let's hope he gets a little bit of game time for City. Okay, let's see what I've got. 2 more topics. Let's go on to Chloe Kelly. Now it's been it was mentioned yesterday or the day before that City's women's team are going to sign 3 players. Chloe Kelly, England international, Everton, I think. She's 22 years old. Only a 2-year deal, which slightly concerns me. but she's at Everton at the moment. And why would you only have a 2-year deal? But anyway, she's City's official website says she's one of the brightest young talents in the English game, and she's applauded for her impressive displays in the 2019-20 campaign. She hit the headlines with 9 goals in 12 appearances, several of those long-range goal of the season contenders. If you're that good, why you're only getting 2-year contracts, I don't know. Okay, so that's something of interest. But anyway, Chloe Kelly said, "I'm unbelievably excited. I'm just so happy to have had the deal sorted. I can't wait to get. I'm honoured to be a City player. Manchester City are a huge club. And as soon as I had my discussions, I knew there and then it was a place I wanted to be. Having spoken to Gareth Taylor, too, after he joined the team, I could sense immediately a great manager he is, and I was excited by the idea of working with him. The development made by a number of young players at the club was massive for me, and the opportunity to play Champions League football was a real draw too. Now it's all sorted. I'm genuinely so excited for what is to come in the blue shirt." Look, she started at Arsenal 5 years ago at 17. She made a debut in July 2015 against Watford in the Continental Cup, scored a goal within half an hour, and then she signed for her first professional contract the following year. But then she joined Everton on loan, impressed Everton, and then she went on a second loan spell there in 2017 and helped. I think she helped them to get promotion to the top tier. And 6 months later, she had signed on a permanent deal. Key figure for them until her recent departure. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how Chloe Kelly gets on. Obviously, you might be aware, I know Blackpool Blu-rays, that we've got Alex Greenwood as well, and Lucy Bronze is coming back from Lyon. So Alex and Lucy are at Lyon, pretty much one of the best clubs in Europe. You know, they win stuff all the time. So it'll be very interesting to see the Man City women's team when those 3 players join. It should take us to hopefully new heights and help us to, win that Women's Super League title. I'll look at your comments. Zinchenko squad play, absolutely a cram, but I think he'll be happy, but we'll see. Sales of Sané, Juliana Harrison, Tosin will bring in the money for the big summer signings. But accounting doesn't work that way, Blackpool Blu-ray, but it will make a difference. Will we sell Tosin? Could we bring Tosin back? I mean, I love the idea, okay, of having Jack Harrison and Tosin and Angelino in pre-season. I love the idea, but that could obviously affect sales if they get injured, like Sané. Leroy Sonny getting injured cost us about 40 million quid, I reckon. And Harrison, Tosin, Angelino, could they make it here? Could they make it? You're not going to find out unless you give them a chance. Okay, we could sell them all, and honestly, we could get something like 20 million for Angelino. I mean, the RB Leipzig price was 25 million. Let's say we get 20. Harrison's up for 15, and Tosin, let's say Tosin's a 10. Okay, that's 25 plus. That's about 45, maybe even 50 million quid on those guys. Chuck in Sané as well. You've got about 95 million quid on sales, and it doesn't mean you can spend 95 million quid on purchases. It doesn't work that way, but it's going to help in FFP terms. It's going to make our accounts staggeringly good. Yeah, I mean, we can have, if we sold them all for those numbers, we'd have a profit on sale in our accounts of, I reckon, somewhere in the region of 80 million quid. We'll have a huge profit. That midfield's about to be thick if we get a left back. Absolutely, Wassa. The ladies tend to get 2-year contracts for some reason. I don't understand why it's only 2 years. I'd have thought you're getting a 22-year-old kid, you'd give her a 3-year contract. Yeah. The worry is she has one good season and she's only got one season left. I don't understand that. Money coming in will all affect FFP, surely. Yeah, it does. It'll affect that current year. It'll affect the current year. Whoever we buy won't the current year in a small way. And the way I'll explain it, if we buy a player for £50 million this summer and put him on a 5-year contract, okay, only 1/5, one year's worth of depreciation or amortization goes through the accounts. So out of the 50 million we spend, only 10 million will go into our accounts each year as an expense. So that's how you can end up with a lot of debt but still survive on FFP. That's how United get by: massive debt and Massive debt at United, but they get by on FFP because it's on profit and loss. Rumours on Twitter that Messi's going to leave Barca. I mean, Pep said many times that Messi will not leave Barca. The only thing I can see happening is going back to Argentina. I mean, there was it's not a story because I got told this in very good faith by a club, someone who knew a club insider, that City, look, if Messi's available, even now at whatever, 31, 32, 30, even if he was 33, and he cost 100 million quid, City would buy City. If he wants to come, City would buy him. They would buy him now, give him a season in the top league, the Premier League, and they can afford him because I'm sure they'll get some money from sponsors. They'll chuck in. I'm sure the fans will chuck in some money. If you were told we need an extra 20 quid from all the season card holders to help us buy, that's going to only make $1 million quid. It's not going to make that much difference. But you know what I mean. Everybody wants Messi. Everybody wants him. Maybe Messi and Aguero will go to play in Argentina. That's the idea, Ikram. I think they both can end up in Argentina. If you don't get Messi, Isco's. We're always linked with Isco. I got told by Puma Shop Manager in Abu Dhabi that Messi to City is confirmed. Behave yourself, Aaron. Behave. I tell you what, Puma Shop Manager in Abu Dhabi certainly doesn't know. What about bringing back Torsten from Blackburn? Yeah, that's it, Pardo Oaks. He had a decent season at West Brom, a decent season at Blackburn. Look, that's in the Championship, okay? And why isn't anybody else coming for him? That makes you worry. But that's in the Championship. And it's not, you look at the difference. Championship, top end of Championship, okay? Not even getting promotion. Remember that West Brom didn't get promoted and Blackburn aren't. So you got top end of the Championship to the Premier League, to the top end of the Premier League. That's a huge gulf. So can he bridge that gap between that? Hi, Faris, hope you're well. The day Isco John City is the day Foden retires. Look, Isco will be 40 and he'll still be linked with City. The last story, we're going to talk about Joel Latibeaudiere. Okay, now, Joel Latibeaudiere, if I remember correctly, was the England captain in the Under-17 World Cup where Phil Foden starred. Phil Foden he was a player of the tournament, scored 2 goals in the final. But if I remember correctly, Joel Latibeaudiere was the World Cup captain at the time. Okay? Now, apparently, he's been talking about help he's had from Julian Lesker, success of the Under-17 World Cup, and his first taste of senior football with FC 20 in Holland. And that's an interesting one because I want to see, is he going to come back? We don't get players coming back. Is he going to come back? Yeah, I'm just reading the story here. He lifted the Under-17 World Cup as captain of an England team that included Jadon Sancho. Well, Jadon Sancho wasn't in the last few games because Borussia Dortmund called him back. Phil Foden, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Ryan Brewster back in 2017. But he's 20 years old now. He's facing the most important test of all in his young football career. He's not played for Man City. He's had a season-long loan spell with FC 20 in the Eredivisie in Holland. That's given him his first taste of senior football in Europe. It's a significant step, okay, because it was a higher level than playing in the academy. He's an exciting academy prospect, as the MEN say. But, the gap, okay, between academy football and EDS football and first team football at Man City is tremendous. It's a chasm. So you bridge that gap by going into a club like FC 20, going into Europe, NAC Breda or whatever, or going to Girona or another club, and which play at a higher level, and then maybe you can use that as a stepping stone. Okay, now he's had a few games there. He's looking at his history. Joined City from Leeds at the age of 13. I think that's where Micah Richards came from as well. It looks like he's going to take another significant step as contract negotiations continue over in Needle with the Blues. Okay, now he's admitted that he would have liked some more game time with FC 20. I don't think he's had enough. He said that the spell has been good for his overall development as a player, and the experience as a whole has made him more well-rounded as a footballer. He said, "I was hoping to play more games, obviously, but I was out there in a top league for my. I learned so much stuff, especially when I'm used to being at such a dominant club at academy level and first team level. Most of the time we, at City, are winning. So then to go to FC 20, we just got promoted into the Eredivisie, where they're not the strongest team in the league. We had to change tactics to play against different teams in the league. It was just something to add to my game knowledge that I can do that side of the game as well." That's what Latibeaudiere told the Manchester Evening News. Okay, He's played across the back for Man City youth side, so he's got lots of experience in different positions. He said, most of my career, I've played the whole way across the back four. I made my under-18s debut at Man City as a left back, believe it or not. The manager at 20 saw my strength, speed, and willingness to get up and down the line, so tried to play me regularly there, and I had fun. I do think my natural position and where I'm best at is centrally, but I can definitely see myself moving to a fullback slot if that's what the manager needs. Left back, possibly. I'm lucky enough to have the skill set to do that, and obviously doing it at a younger age by playing left back, centre back, and right back in my academy days. So in my academy days career, so that puts me in a good stead to play as a versatile player, which managers do look for nowadays. With the loan spell, it's he's only 20 years old. Remember that, okay? He's been at City for 7 years. It's a long time. He classes as homegrown. That if he's good enough, that is important. Now, Julian Lesker, he's a loan coach at the Etihad Stadium, so he's coaching loanees, so kids who go out. He's actually helping to coach that. I think I talked about that. I must have talked about a year, 18 months ago. It's in the distant past. I've talked about Julian Lesker being a loan coach. We need people, not just relying on the coaches at the clubs that the kids go to. But Julian Lesker's helped him to further his development and be a shoulder to lean on for advice. Now, Lesker, remember, he won 2 Premier League titles with City, played 160 games for City. He won the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup as well during his time as a player. He's had plenty of success. So for Latibeaudiere, he believes the luxury of having Lesker just a phone call away for any advice has been a huge helping hand in his progression towards first team football. I spoke to Julian even before I was out on loan because he obviously watches the games and everything. Having someone like Julian Lesker there as a Premier League winner and England international, having played in the position I play, helps you so much. I'll go through clips with him. He's always on call. He came out to visit me for 4 or 5 times in Holland and went through little things, and he's been a massive help. It's literally like tiny little things in your game that you can learn from. Him, which can make such a big difference. I'm lucky enough to have Julian as a loan coach because not many people have the luxury of being able to call on Julian Lesker. So, yeah, Latibeaudiere, he's had a couple of, I'm just looking through the notes, he's had a couple of long-term posterior cruciate ligament knee injuries in 2018. So that's stopped his campaign. But now he's 20. He believes he's in a better place to have gone through, by having gone through such a devastating injury at a young age. He said, I got the injury at one of the highest points of my career, coming off the back of a season where I had just won the World Cup and done well with the under-23s in the Champions League. So the injury couldn't have come at a worse time. It was horrible to go through, and mentally it was draining, Latibeaudiere adds. But to know that I can get through something like that and come back to go out on loan in a top European league did so much for my confidence and mentality moving forwards. I think the biggest thing was knowing that I can get through such a horrible stage of a career at such a young age. It definitely made me mentally strong, and I had to work on stuff in the gym as well so I could get stronger to come back early and be ready. I just had it in my head that now is the time I need to push on after having such a setback, but let's just keep going and get back on track. Okay, and to finish, he's looking forward to the future, obviously. He said, just to get out there playing first team football, literally the whole team from that World Cup under-17s has gone on to play at for a first team club. That would definitely be the next step on my ladder for sure. Hopefully getting to somewhere like a championship or another first division to keep playing my football. I mean, that kind of sounds like he's not going to come back to City, but I hope that we give him another contract. I hope that he gets a chance with City. You know, I think his brother's gone already, Tom Latibeaudiere, but I think Joel has got an immense amount of talent. You know, he was under-17s captain of England, no less. So there must be something about him. So fingers crossed for him. Paris man of the match been out for not clapping. Absolutely, absolutely. Ikram, don't have to worry about Isco. Isco's not coming. City. Don't know. I mean, there's a lot of talk about Koulibaly. That's an option. I think a serious option. And also, I think Pep is looking at Garcia now. We've seen Garcia could be, you know, the man to move forward. And I think next season he will be one of the 4 choices of centre-back. No question. He won't be behind Stones and he won't be behind Otamendi as he has been up to now. Foden will probably come better than I absolutely agree, Cram. Yeah, Joel's dropped off that radar, but look, he was 17 under 17's captain. Then he had I think it was the following season, he had the injuries and problems with his knee. Now he's been out on loan. Got to give him a chance. He might come good, But whatever happens, it might take him a couple of seasons. But can you imagine? He could be 22 and he could be fantastic. Give him time. I think he just needs. I don't think he can come back to City and make it at City just yet. I think another season, as he says, with a Championship club or a First Division club in Holland, to get more experience and to play a lot more. Ikram, yeah. Well, actually, the thing is now, Douglas Luiz, if you wanted a work permit, I don't think it's a problem because he's played in the Premier League. Well, I don't know if it's a problem, but I think it wouldn't be. Patrick Roberts is gone. Yeah, Patrick Roberts is gone. He wasted his talent. Hi, Brian. I hope you are well. You're a happy boy. Patrick Roberts wasted his talent by going back to Celtic. Now, when he came to City, he stayed here for about 6 months. I think he made his debut in about November in Carabao Cup or League Cup as it was then, or whatever it was. Then he went to Celtic in January for an 18-month loan spell, and he did really well at Celtic. I think they won the treble. Okay. Now, then Pep came. Pep wanted him. Okay, and he chose to go back to Celtic for another 12-month loan, and he took the easy option, the hard option, the good option, the best option, in my opinion, was to stay at City, train and learn under Pep Guardiola for that season. And you might not get much game time. You might not, but learn under Pep like Foden has. What Roberts did, he took the easy option, went back to Celtic. And that stumped him because then Guardiola's moved on. Pep Guardiola isn't bothered. You diss him in that. I think that is disrespectful. If you don't give him your full 100%, then he's moving on. So we moved on. I think Brahim Diaz came through and other kids were coming through. And Robert's time was gone. He went to Girona, didn't out there. I think he's done another one loan spell in Europe. I can't remember now. And now he's at Championship club. And that's a shame. It's a shame for a kid who had so much talent. Apparently, Messi's agent dropped by shop in Abu Dhabi. Come on, Aaron, behave yourself, buddy. Pep's hinted for a rebuild, so if we can't rebuild, if he doesn't sign a new contract, we don't know. I mean, Pep can't come out and say, I'm only staying for one more season. He can't come out and do that. So, I'd like Pep to come out and say, I'm going to sign a 2-year contract extension. The worry is if he signs a 1-year contract extension, it's like what Manuel Pellegrini did. If he wants to do it, I want him to sign a 2-year contract extension. And then, it's a good time for Pep. It's a good time to be a Blue. It's a good time to be a City fan. If Pep can come out and say 2 more years, that will give us a humongous amount of confidence. And I think that's what I would like. I would like to have that confidence that Pep is going to stay for a couple more years. And, it would make me feel like that. Hey, Abdallah, good to have you on, mate. Good to have you on. Nice to see you last night. I've got a bad feeling Pep won't sign an extension. Well, that's the thing. It's like Leroy Sonny. The longer it goes on, you think, well, why isn't he doing it? There's a lot for Pep to consider. He'll have been here a long time. That's 5 years. Do you see Lucas Dimetra having a few at City beyond Ultra Gaming? No. I think he's at Middlesbrough now on loan. He went to Wolfsburg on loan. I don't see anything from Lucas at City. I think he's going to be sold at some point in the near future. Do you think the wheels have come off that Liverpool side after last night, Ray? Duff's 9. No, I mean, the wheels had already started wobbling. Chris NUFC, the wheels were already wobbling. They'd lost to Watford 3-0. They'd lost to Atletico Madrid twice. They'd drawn with Everton. They'd had another game where they hadn't scored away from home. I think someone said there was 5 games. Was that Chelsea? I can't remember. They said there's 5 games on the bounce at Liverpool played away from home and haven't scored. And that includes that loss to Atletico, loss to City, loss to what? I can't remember the 5th one. So that's a lot of games not to have scored a goal away from home. Maybe they run out of steam. Maybe they run out of motivation because the season's done and dusted. We don't know. Alan Brown, are we planning post-Pep next season is his last? Alan, honestly, don't know. Honestly, as I said a few minutes ago, as the longer Pep doesn't sign his new contract, the more worried I become. Yeah? The more worried I become. I'd like to think we're going to find out this summer. One way or the other, I think we'll know in this summer. Once the season's finished, once the Champions League's done, I think we'll know where we are with Pep. Abdallah, Pep won't have the funds that other clubs like he has at City. City are already going to excel. Well, the thing is, Abdallah, we're not spending big money. We're not spending big money anymore. That first season, yes, we did. But since then, we aren't spending big money. Nemecha had the chance to play at a high level in the Bundesliga and the Europa League, and he didn't perform. Yeah, I remember when I was in Germany, I was in Wolfsburg last October, and I wanted to go and see him play. And I wanted him, actually, I was doing some work there. I was doing some shows in the Science Centre, and I wanted to invite Lucas to come. But I remember that the only time I could have gone to see him in the evening, they were playing at Saint Etienne in the Europa League, and they were away from home. Otherwise, I'd have tried to get tickets to see Lucas Nemecha play. But I want to see if City kids. If I get a chance, I'm in a time where a City kid or an ex-City kid is, I might try and go and have a look. Didn't score against Atletico, Chelsea, Watford, Everton, and City. There you go. There you go. Thank you very much, Ikram. I thought it was a Chelsea game. So they're struggling a little bit. And it frustrates me. Okay, there's only 2 of them have been league games, or 3 of them. Sorry. But it frustrates me that City have thrown games away when we could have won. That Chelsea game, we could have won that. The 2 games against United and those 3 games where we've scored 2 goals and drawn, there's 12 points straight away. It'd have been tight. What do I make of Leroy Sonny going to Bayern Munich? Hey, kid's gone. He wants to go. He's wanted to go for 2 seasons, not sign his contract. Let him go and move on. He's not our player anymore. We'll talk about who's here and talk about our future now. Abdallah, Pep won't have a great setup at another club and support like his at City, like Keldon and Cheeky. Best ball. Well, he's best ball in the world because Cheeky is his mate, and Ferran Serrano is his mate at Barcelona. And Keldon is one of the best chairmen going. He knows his stuff, and he's obviously, we've got a bit of money behind us, and we can get more money if we need. But I think the owners are looking at it and saying we shouldn't really be needing to be spending tons of money and chucking tons of money at this anymore. Mostly it should be coming through the club itself. Wolves and Man United did the double over us. We failed to beat Spurs this season and always lost to Liverpool at Anfield. Lost to Chelsea last week. We have to improve in these big crucial games. Absolutely, Cram. You've got to look at it. United are 6th at the moment, 5th. Well, Wolves and United are 5th and 6th. Spurs are about 8th or 9th. So that's poor. Look at who you lost. And where we excel is the big 6 games. We excel in beating Arsenal home and away. We excel in beating Spurs home and away. We excel in beating United. Yeah, we excel in beating Chelsea. Okay, we struggle with Liverpool, but we excel, especially away from home. But we excel in the top 6 league. Pepsi Serie A is his next conquest. Well, where else can he go, Alan? Unless he goes into, and I don't think he will, as his next step into international management, as in managing a country, because he won't get that day-to-day involvement with the players. He'll go and watch players and talk to them now and again, but he won't get that relationship with the players that he gets at club football on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, beyond other we lost to Norwich. It was a terrible performance. I was there. Chris Pep said we don't need to replace Leroy Sonny. He said we got Phil Foden, we got Bernardo Silva, we got Mahrez and Zinchenko, and he's talking about not replacing him. And to be honest, if I had the choice, between a new centre forward or a new left winger, I'd go with the centre forward. Duff's he's still young manager, absolutely. But I would go with this. If going back to Chris, I would go with a new centre forward rather than a new winger, because we've got people who can go out on the left, like Gabby J. Okay, but we need a new striker because Aguero's knocking on. He's 32. He's injured. You can just say it's hard luck, but he always has an injury every season that keeps him out for 1 or 2 spells of the season. And Gabby J isn't the finished article yet. So I want to get somebody else, either young to push everybody as well, or a little bit older. If you offer Lewandowski, you would bite Bayern's hand off to get Lewandowski. When beyond Ultra Gibbon says we need a new centre forward, I think so. Stones Ottomani partnership was born. We need centre backs as well, Alan. But I'm just looking at the forward line. If people are talking about getting a new winger to replace Sané, I'd rather have a forward. If we're looking at the attacking sense, I think we might. I mean, I've always thought we might get an attacking midfielder, but maybe we won't. Maybe we'll end up with a centre back, a left back, and a centre forward. Would I be happy? I'd be happy enough. No, beyond the gaming, that ain't going to happen. Aguero stays as long as he wants. Guys, I've rolled over an hour. I had promised to do some housework. It's 6 o'clock. Ikram, we really need someone who can play on the left wing. The wingers we have are more suited to the right. They can play on either side. I mean, they're left footers. Guys, I'm going to knock it on the head. It's just gone past 6 o'clock. I've got another stream to do at 9 o'clock. We're going to do the player ratings tonight. This is just your bonus. This is your bonus stream, guys. I've done a stream with Bernard talking about the game last night. This is your bonus stream to catch up on a lot of City news. And tonight, 9 o'clock, I'll be back to talk about player ratings. No footy on tonight. Will we get a good turnout? Come on, guys. Come back at 9 o'clock. I'd like to get 20 or 30. Like we used to. Back in the day, we used to have, 30 or 40 plus takes, loads of people on. I like that. Get back to the day where I've done an hour's chatting when I think it's only 20 or 30 minutes worth of news. And the interaction that is there, guys, and it pumps me up, keeps me going. See you at 9 o'clock, guys. Look after yourselves and have a very, very good afternoon.